And we're live, guys. Today, we'll see how much we get into it. You know, I haven't really, sometimes I only share with you guys what I would say you need to know in order to get better, right? I don't tend to share a ton of details. When I say get better, I'm usually concerned about people's health. Why? Because I myself went through a lot of medical stuff. Have gone through lots of different things, and having to find my way out. It's funny in life. Sometimes we don't really choose, quote unquote, our path and different things. And it's all been very one large coincidence. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't a coincidence. Maybe I'm a silly guy for thinking that it is. But so many strange things that have happened throughout my life that gave me inside information. I know inside information about a lot of things. And I mean, when I say inside info, oh, hello everybody, good morning. When I say inside info, I'm talking about the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And obviously we're being lied to in a major way, and lied to about our health, lied to us about the causes for a lot of our issues and how to resolve them. Even lies about supplements, lies about hydrogen, for example, lies about our water, lies about our education. I mean, lots of things. There's tons of them. And I got lucky enough. I probably won't go into it in great detail because I never disclosed this. This is why I'm actually considering deleting this video, and maybe for the few, usually the regulars. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe I'll leave it up. I'll debate that. And then if you want to see what I'm making a food that is actually good for me, rather than, for you guys, I'm sure everybody out there realizes, well, maybe you don't, that I'll give you the answer, but let's see if somebody guesses it correctly. What percentage of our food supply do you think is contaminated with something, with quote unquote things that they know make you sick and ultimately can give you something like cancer? So what percentage of the stuff, like when you go to a store, what can you actually buy? What can you actually eat? Excuse me. So somebody guessed that. And if nobody guesses, I'll tell you here in a second. And then depending on what you guys want to know about today, as far as what they're not telling us, quote unquote, what can we do also? And I'm going to make a special breakfast today, actually. So I just put a bunch of really high nutrient powder, just so you guys know. This is actually from a company called Purium, really into the high purity. It's just food. I check all my ingredients, and I use that instead of a multivitamin. I don't take the pills. I'm not a huge fan of pills, if you haven't noticed. I don't take too many of them. Everything that I try to do, if you've noticed, is I try to get it in its most simplest form, the way that nature intended. Like, for example, I'm putting these flax seeds in right now. Extremely good for you. Numerous health benefits. Not to mention that I'm really into anti-parasitics. That's another tricky one, guys. So let's see here. Somebody says, hi, Greg. Hi, Linda. The wavy one says, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Oh, Terry just guessed. 90%. That's a good guess, Terry. Someone says, hi, Iran. It's the U.S. government here to help. Well, we can get into that if you guys want. Char says, hello. New here. Found you last week. So learning about what you're about. Awesome. And the way even says, I don't know the exact percentage. The majority of the food that isn't in the produce section is garbage. There you go. And even the fruits and veggies are sketchy. And You can't trust much of anything. And I would say that you are correct in that assessment. And then when RN says yes, definitely any parasitics combined with nutrients for real food. There you go. So what percentage of our food is basically making us sick? You're probably looking at 98%. So almost everything, guys. Let's see, what else was I going to put in here? So this has been going on for some time, and it's only getting worse. You know, the walls are closing in, as they say. And I'm not going to disclose it, but I can tell you some things that, you know, again, we don't plan for things, right? And I had all sorts of really weird things happen since I was a kid. And little by little, throughout all the years, it gave me insight into, again, really big things going on behind the scenes. And then eventually I got involved in, you know, I think a lot of people know that I was involved in the medical field. And so I know what goes on behind the scenes there too. And it's one of the reasons that, you know, I left. And also because I got sick myself. And then I needed to find my way out. Hence what I do here for you guys. Look, if you have any questions about whether what I do actually works or is real, it's real simple. This is the reason that I went out of my way to interview just a few, by the way. I interviewed, if you guys saw it on my channel, if you haven't, go look at the channel. I did an interview with a doctor who followed a protocol I created for him and his results. And he's just one of many. I've been doing this for a long time. And then the next interview, you know, the woman who had, she had some issues. Some of them she didn't say them in English because we did 2 episodes, one in Spanish, one in English. But she had things like a prolapsed colon. Her uterus had dropped. She was having lots of gut issues and pain. She was having platelet issues. They thought she might have cancer. She had chronic fatigue. She, a lot of inflammation, everything. What was the other big one? She had some big stuff. She had, oh yeah, pre-diabetic also. Oh, she had a cough that just wouldn't stop. It lasted, I believe it well over a year. No doctor could do anything. All the medicine, all the steroids that they put in her, all the garbage, you know, and it didn't work. And there is a secret, by the way. And the secret, look, is a secret what I'm making right here. I mean, not technically in a lot of ways. I mean, I'm making something that's highly nutritious and really good for the human body. But there is one piece to my techniques that my techniques won't work without it. Somebody was actually asking me that the other day. And the real secret, guys, is water, and not just any water. The good news is that it's not crazy expensive. I can literally show you how to do it. In fact, if you watch my channel, you probably already know how. One is cleaning the water. You know, I can show you lab reports. We just had a conversation the other day, right, about how there's literally stuff in our water that we don't even test for. In fact, we don't test for the majority of the stuff that's really in our water. The municipalities just test for certain things and then deem it safe. And I'm telling you right now, in my opinion, it's not safe. And there's a reason that all this stuff is in our water. And it really is by design. This is not an accident, by the way. Although it may seem like one, it's not an accident. And, you know, a lot of this stuff is a form of control. So you're being lied about your health. And the sad part is that the people who are supposed to help with the alternative field, I hate to tell you guys, I know you're going to think that they know everything, and the truth is they don't. You know how many naturopaths, how many doctors, whether they're naturopathic doctors or just regular MDs, reach out to me for help? I actually have a friend right now who's quite sick. He's a quite intelligent MD, and he doesn't know what to do. And he's like, dude, I need to meet with you. I need to get on your protocol because he has cancer, sadly, and cancer, I'll tell you right now, is one of the more difficult ones, and requires a lot of effort and a lot of guidance. One thing I've also learned which is kind of sometimes, I hate to say that it's shocking. I think I just need to accept the fact, you know, that people just don't know that much, even when they think they do. You know, I know a lot of people who think that they know, you know, quote unquote, everything about health, or they think that they're always right. And I'm always up to learning more. But I have noticed that a lot of people just don't know what to do. In fact, there was a funny post this morning by a doctor on Twitter. Can't remember his name, but he was asking people like, what's the first thing that you drink in the morning? And everybody thinks that they're a biohacker, right? And everybody's like, oh, I drink creatine, and I drink this supplement, and I drink that supplement. You know, it's ironic, not one person said I drink the cleanest water. Not one person. You know, some people said, well, I drink water, you know, but what kind of water? Hence the reason I show you guys, and if anybody who wants to just watch that video, it's video 388. I show you, I bring the receipts, I show you the lab reports, I show you how to truly clean your water. And I don't mean, oh, do I have reverse osmosis, or do I have this, that, or the other? I'm talking about not just cleaning some things out of your water, like, hey, I get chlorine out of it. Oh, I buy bottled water, right? Bottled water, some of the worst stuff there is. Full of extremely high levels of microplastics. In fact, it's the highest level of microplastics of anything that you ingest, right? That's why for my protocols, you have to clean your water. There's no other way. I had a woman ask me, can I do your protocol without actually cleaning my water? And I was like, are you out of your mind? Like, that's what I was thinking. I wasn't trying to be rude, but I'm like thinking it's almost like, can I lose weight without, you know, exercise or eating right? Can I just lay on the couch and just magically look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, or whatever? It's just ridiculous. But anyway, sorry, bad example. But when you really, it's been an accumulation of my lifetime, all the different industries and things that I've seen in past that I've gone down that really, you know, it revealed a lot of things. And it revealed the corruptions, and it's terrible. And, you know, one of the most magical pieces to getting through this, that's going to be that's actually the question. Maybe I should have put that in the title of the video. The real question is, how do you survive this? Yeah, how do you reverse certain medical issues? Remember, I don't give any medical advice. I don't make any medical claims. And I don't make any claims for or against any products. Okay, that's all there is to it. I'm just going to give you my opinions and whatever. Now, the thing is that how do we really get through this? And that is the big question. How can you get through this crazy, toxic, poisonous world and somehow manage to stay healthy? I mean, I will tell you, doctors and scientists, I mean, they are starting to take notice. And when I say take notice, as I've told you guys already, I'm actually working with some at this time, because when they see the results, that's the big thing, guys. We'll see how far we get, because somebody very intelligent told me, they said, right now, they don't really know what you're doing, because I've been very small. I haven't had a ton of money backing me up and everything. But he said, wait until they see what you're doing. Wait until they see these, because I've already seen the blood results. In fact, why do you think that these doctors and scientists have gotten involved? They're like, how are you accomplishing this? And I've been hearing that for years. I've been hearing many doctors asking the same question. How did you do this for my patient? You know, and a lot of times actually they ask the patient and then they just tell them, oh, it's just, you know, following a hydrogen man. And they're like, who's that? You know, but one of the biggest secrets, and you'll notice this, actually somebody brought this up yesterday, and they said, it was a very good point. They said, why haven't I noticed other people using hydrogen getting results? Why is it that the guys you work with, like you'll never see, and to date, like for example, let's talk about like hydrogen tablets, right? I think a bunch of people are promoting those things. Of course, I've been asked to promote such things, and I won't, because I will only show you guys stuff that's good for you and the truth, in my personal opinion, right? And it's like, how come you never see anybody actually see results? And I don't mean somebody getting on camera or making a tweet saying, hey, I feel great. Because by the way, placebo is a powerful thing. I'm talking about real results. Like I'm talking about somebody who gets on camera and says, hey, I used to have high blood pressure. I was diabetic. I had platelet issues maybe. You know, my mother has dementia and all of a sudden it's getting better and all these crazy things, right? Why don't we see that with the other hydrogen products? Now, people say things, but this is literally why, and I know the dishonesty. I mean, remember, guys, I'm a hydrogen specialist. I know all about how you make it, use it, the whole bit, which is why I see how the average person who even promotes them, they don't know. And they don't seem to care. I've reached out to these people and tried to help because I thought they were actually interested in helping people. I actually thought that. I literally thought that maybe like the Dr. Mercolas of the world and Dr. Gundry's, all the big names. And remember, when they're big, there's a lot of money backing them. And usually that's not a good thing, because they're it's an industry. How many products do they sell? How many products do you need? All the crazy stuff, if you want to see all the testimonials or even the interviews, notice what the doctor who I interviewed said. And I wanted to interview him because I thought, high credibility person, especially an MD, surgeon, no less. It's like, he was really shocked too. And he made the statement, I believe, in the interview. He said, I got all these crazy results. He goes, and I got off pretty much almost all my supplements. See, part of my protocol, and I wanted to make it simple, but it does have to be modified and different for each person, right? Because every person has different issues and whatever. But it's crazy because he's like, I pretty much threw all my supplements out. Because I don't even, there's no need for all these supplements. Everybody wants to sell you a magic pill. And it and for some reason people like them, for whatever reason. And is it really, really benefiting you? Now, I'm not saying that there's no pill out there that is not good for you, but I will say, in my personal opinion, over 90% of the stuff out there, even in the health alternative field and everything else, I'm actually surprised that they even do like a hydrogen pill. I mean, I'm sorry, but that is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. But you can talk about all the benefits of hydrogen though. And that's just, remember, that's just hydrogen. That's not enough. In my opinion, hydrogen is only a piece to the puzzle. And to me, what's quite important, and I talk about it all the time, and the good news is, honestly, thank God that the Almighty, whatever God you believe in, or whatever your belief system is, you can even call it just nature, or whatever you want to call it, the one thing that defies the laws of physics, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, and that's water. Water is magical if you know what to do with it. And I'm going to tell you right now, the average person does not know what to do with it. Even I've met people who are supposed to be water experts, still don't know what to do with water to make it truly magical. And the truth is, as far as I can see, the majority of water products and stuff, not the best. Sorry to tell you guys, it's really hard to comb through that field and industry to really get to the truth. Now, maybe before I keep going, I should read some of your comments real quick. And thanks for all the thumbs up. We have 12, I guess, but we have over 50 people. Okay, let's see. I'm going to keep ranting here, but I also don't mind answering some of your questions. Char says, it's all poisoned. Have videos to prove it. Yeah, basically. Someone says avoid center aisles. That's actually a good point, Joe Glaser. I completely agree with you about the avoiding center aisle. Actually, when I go to the grocery store, it's like I go to this little tiny section and the rest of it is garbage. Somebody says great topic about toxic food. I mean, it's going to be important. Char says they put liver flukes in the water. Good point. I can show you we can fix this, by the way. Dank says, I missed the last live, and when I went to listen, it was gone. I still have them, though. I could probably post it again. The heavy one, the wavy one. I'm sorry, not the head. Sorry, the wavy one. Says, touching unfiltered water is just dangerous. I wouldn't advise it. No, I would agree with you. Lisa says, good morning, Greg. Glad I caught your show. It's funny that you guys think this is a show. I'm just making my morning breakfast. I wanted to let you know you were right. I definitely agree. The new Lourdes Hydrofix is a noticeable improvement. It is. I mean, I don't just say things. I I look at the data, I look at engineering, I look at the facts, I try the stuff, and we even have blood work. Certain things that are, they're about to get real interesting, guys. So stay tuned for anybody who's found my channel, because most of you are not gonna, most people don't find this channel. And so if you did, you're gonna wanna stay tuned because there's some really exciting things coming. The wavy one says, surgeons are some of the best, but they still know very little about health. And I would agree with you. And that's why I really like Dr. Diego. He's actually looking for health. When we talk behind the scenes, he is such a great guy, by the way. I've been very impressed by him. And we have collaborated a lot and talked a lot. And it's been really, really wonderful having a guy like that, because think about it, he's on the inside, right? You know, and so it's really good to have different connections in all sorts of different industries so that you can all connect and work together if you have it in your heart that you want to do good things. You know, not necessarily to use the information in bad ways, right? But you're trying to put something together and hopefully you have the heart for it. And all I can tell you guys is, look, and I'm not trying to be gloom or anything, but look, am I going to be around for a long time? Probably not. In fact, are any of us going to be around a really long time? I mean, you know, if you're of a certain age, you might already be past your prime, past your half your life expectancy, whatever. And at some point you need to ask yourself, you know, because you guys know I don't talk about it a ton, but I, you know, as some of you know, I have had my little experiences, you know, like they call them like NDEs, you know, near-death experiences. And, you know, spending time on the other side affected me a great deal, though I had already a lot of things that had affected me. So I was already highly influenced by many different factors throughout my life. But being on the other side, it changed everything, because the things that you're shown there are not the type of things, like on planet Earth, they're always trying to do shenanigans, right? They're always like trying to manipulate you, and God knows what's on TV. Are you really being told the truth? You know, vote for Jeb Bush or vote for Hillary. You know, it's like, what's the best choice? Are they both basically the same thing? You know, and when you go to the other side, there's a lot of truth that is shown to you, you know, but it also can be, I guess, sometimes scary for some people. But I learned a lot that, you know, affected me a great deal. Keep going. Let's see. The wavy one says, the magic pill is nature. You know, that's, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. Carmen Alexander says, a little late today, but hello all. Hello. Welcome. Land of the Blinded says the distillers have doubled in price. What's a good one? They've doubled? I don't know about doubled. But the distillers that I recommend are American made. They use a different type of carbon technology also. And they're from a website called mypurewater.com. They have third-party lab testing. If you want a discount code, the code is uprising144K. And if you want to support what I'm doing, because I do a lot of stuff for you guys. I don't even know if you guys know this. Throughout the years, I've been spending a lot of just money to try to do, I did a lot of blood work on myself. And I did a lot of trial and error and trying different products. And the whole thing cost a lot to really figure out the path. I was just trying to find the path for literally myself, but I was always thinking about you guys, meaning people. I wanted, because I know that the average person, look, everybody's good at something, right? Some people are good musicians. Some people are good at, you know, building things, engineering, whatever. And one of my quote unquote secret gifts, if I should even divulge it, is I have a, it's one of the, I'm almost embarrassed to share this. I'll just say that I can be extremely good at something and figure things out that I would say very few or almost nobody can. I see patterns. I was like that since I was a child. Even so far as I was taken to a government run hospital. It's a really long story, but they learned a lot about my brain. I learned a lot about my brain. But here's my problem. If you want to know my, again, I don't know if I should divulge it, right? Because in this world, remember, anything you say can and will be used against you. So the other side of it is, I'll just say that I'm good at certain things, and then I can be really, really not good at other things. But if something's important enough to me, and it has to be important enough to me, otherwise I can't do it. They can't just, nobody can offer me like $1 million and say, hey, figure out this. I can't do it. I need to be almost, I don't like the word like obsessed. I would almost say like just extremely passionate. It has to be in my heart. And if it's in my heart and it matters to me, I will find it. And I think that's the way it was about this health thing. I didn't want to be a health guru or trying to find answers to health problems. I wasn't interested in that at all. But when I myself, unfortunately got sick, well, that changed everything. Now it became extremely important for me to try to find, answers to health. And I've been sharing those with you guys, obviously. Okay, let's see here. Oh yeah, the distillers have doubled in price. I don't know about the double, but anyway, yeah, mypurewater.com, discount code uprising 144K. I would get, now they have more than one kind, but in my opinion, well, it's not just my opinion, they all make the same water. They all clean your water completely, including parasites, viruses, bacterias, mold, all sorts of crazy stuff. And the filters don't get like dirty like your average filter. Watch video 388. I explain it all. And their cheapest one is like, I don't know, $700. I think with the discount code, it goes down to like $600 and something. And it's a very high quality American made, higher quality stainless steel, not Chinese, not, because they do some weird stuff, especially with the carbon filter at the end. Okay, so if you want clean water, and then of course I show you guys how to add minerals but the real magic, look, the one magic, and I'll tell you what really upsets me and it's upsetting and it's also sad. And that's the real secret is hydrogen. And it's amazing to me how polluted the hydrogen industry is. Instead of people trying to do the right thing, that's not what I'm observing, right? In regards to the hydrogen industry, in my opinion, right? And that really bugs me because to me, the hydrogen is going to be one of the key components of getting ourselves out of this huge mess. And of course, I already use it. And thank God, and I'm not kidding you, thank God, and the sacrifice and the effort. And some of it's quite heartbreaking for the Japanese man who created the best hydrogen machine in the world. Because without that machine, I honestly don't know what I would do. There are, how many other machines? There's 1, 2, there's 3 other machines, in my opinion, that I could use. The problem is they're still not as good and they can get real expensive. One of them is like $32,000 and it's a Japanese machine. And it's, in my opinion, still not as good as the one that I'm using. And he made it available to us. He made it available to the world. And it's all because of the suffering of his daughter. So I believe his daughter is kind of a sacrifice. By the way, let's put some chia seeds in here. Let's see here. Let's see what your next question is. Char says, if you're going to prove on parasites, I'll definitely stay and share. If I'm going to prove, it's one of the funny things about parasites. My technique, part of my techniques, one of them is an anti-parasitic protocol. I have a very involved one, but on top of it, I live what I would call an anti-parasitic lifestyle. So I eat a lot of things that are anti-parasitic. In fact, you might be surprised that a lot of the ingredients I'm putting in this thing are actually anti-parasitic, and I use them all the time. In fact, hydrogen, nobody talks about it, and it's a problem because it depends on how you do the hydrogen. But I found the research study. This isn't a shock. I think it should shock everybody. It should absolutely be a shocker, and it probably isn't to the average person. I found a study that was done. It was supposed to be done on liver health, and I don't know if you've ever seen the data on hydrogen for the liver. Pretty unbelievable. Fatty liver, cirrhosis of the liver. I've worked with people who had major liver problems, liver failure. We've had very good success, so that's been really, really great. However, and you know what? I'm gonna have to make chia seeds, so I guess you guys are gonna get to see that again. And what I found in this research study that was absolutely shocking, and I was glad that somebody had the sense to think and look for liver flukes, parasites, And lo and behold, they were a little shocked because a study was never supposed to be intended for this. Lo and behold, the parasite numbers had dropped quite a bit from using properly made clean hydrogen. Now, is it a problem when you use other types of hydrogen? Well, I have huge concerns about it. I've been trying to raise them for a long time, but you know what happens is all I do is get attacked. Instead of getting help and trying to figure out the truth, which I hate to say it, I kind of feel like I already figured it out, and it's not that complicated, which is why I was able to figure it out, because it has so much to do with purity. You see, parasites are attracted to many interesting things, including heavy metals. And so, by the way, super clean water here. If you guys want to see how I'm making this, I can move the camera if you guys want to. I mean, just make, well, I'll just move the camera. You guys can see it if you want to, and if you don't, you don't have to. But yeah, so they noticed these changes in parasitic numbers. Now think about it. One thing we don't really want is a lot of heavy metals. Well, one of the most popular probably hydrogen products out there, and just probably because it's cheap, for example, like hydrogen tablets. I just can't believe that this stuff's even being sold, right? Because think about it. One, go do a heavy metal test. See what you find, right? Because I'm not going to make a claim. So do a heavy metal test and you'll find. By the way, thanks for all the thumbs up. Wow, we only have 29, but we got over 60 people in here. Come on, guys, it's free. If you appreciate me sharing all this stuff with you, and you know, all my videos are free. So anyway, so basically, you want really high purity, and especially when you're talking about a medical gas, and that includes oxygen, that includes things like ozone, and we're talking molecular hydrogen also, which is a gas. Though I personally, I think it's the king of all the gases. I think it's an absolute, treasure for us, which is exactly why I don't want to see it get polluted. You know, just like water. I think water is very magical for us. Also a true treasure. And look how fast this is going to settle. So I'll shake it like this and have to come back and shake it a little more. Water is an absolute treasure until it becomes polluted. Air is an absolute treasure until it becomes polluted. And you may think like a treasure, like come on, you're overdoing it, right? I'm like, no, I'm telling you right now, and see how it settles. This is why you have to keep shaking it for a little bit until it. You'll see how it'll stop doing that, and the water will soak. See, super clean water. If you have the ability to have hydrogen in the water, actually even better. And then it goes into all these chia seeds. And I don't know if I need to tell you about all the wonderful calcium and magnesium and omegas and fiber and all the amazing stuff in chia seeds. So, but one thing that it's really hard for evil to do is pollute something like hydrogen, and yet, gosh, they, in my opinion, they absolutely have, and it's darn right frustrating, because I wish, you know, I've talked to people in the industry, and you know what they care about? Because I'm trying to tell people about, you know, what's the best hydrogen, how to make it properly, how it can benefit us, all this stuff, and what are they interested in? Profit. They're interested in the money. I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, that's why people like selling cheap products, by the way. Sorry, big shocker, huh? Okay, minerals. I'm gonna add minerals where they remove the salt, at least the majority of it, and keep the pure minerals, which is really good. And we need them. We are highly deficient in minerals. And let's see here. I guess I should keep reading your guys' questions. So let's go back here. I was just trying to show you how I make those chia seeds if you guys ever want to learn some of those techniques. Though I have some videos about that too. Oh, thanks for all the thumbs up. We're 37. I mean, it really helps the algorithm, guys, if you want other people to really find this info. And actually, if you want to support the channel, it is free. Okay, Char says, if you're going to prove on, oh, I don't remember what that means. You might have to rewrite that because I don't know what prove on means. Terry says, what is the purine powder? I'm trying to find an alternative as I can't get it in the UK. Yeah, you know, that's a tough one because the purine company, one thing that I've kind of found out about them, okay, so this is good enough now. So now I'm going to put it in the fridge, guys. So it's nice and even now. It's not sinking to the bottom. So we're done with the chia seeds. Basically, the purine powder is just trying to have, it's just food. If you look at the ingredients, it's just a bunch of different superfoods. And I am going to make a special smoothie today, actually, just for the heck of it. I think I'm going to make an extremely high protein smoothie with good fats, obviously a lot of wonderful anti-parasitic properties, So let's just do that today, guys. You're gonna see, because I have a lot of different types of smoothies also. But today we're gonna go high protein, fats. Ooh, we're gonna use a lot of good ingredients today. If I can, wait a second. If I can, oh, here it is. Oh, I found the magic. And everybody's gonna wanna know the brand. They always ask me, like, what's the brand? It's like, okay. I normally don't show you because I don't have the label, but today I do, so I will show you guys today. One of the most powerful special ingredients from Japan, natto, right? This stuff has just about the same amount of protein as beef, and it has that special enzyme that everybody's talked about. And by the way, I actually knew about that enzyme before anybody in America. I'd already known about the data, but I couldn't talk about it because you get your channel canceled. But it has that special enzyme in it, the natto kinase or natto kinase, naturally. I'm going to show you how to activate it too. But here is one of the brands that I like. This one's really buttery. There's all sorts of different kinds of natto, guys. Like, it's crazy how many different kinds there are. And yeah, and whatever subject, like whatever you guys kind of want to talk about, you can ask questions, and I can cover different topics depending on what questions you guys have. So I totally will work with you guys here. Thanks. We got 40 something thumbs up. All right, we're doing all right. If you can give one, it's great. Okay. So let's see here. Oh yeah, the purine powder. That's gonna be a little tricky one. I'll grab the, I have to grab one of the labels, but try to find something that's organic. Every ingredient in it should be food, and that's the end of it. And I use it as a food multivitamin type of thing, but we'll talk about it, Terry. Lisa says, I really noticed the improvement when doing the inhalation. And that's what, we saw that the inhalation from the hydrogen generator, in fact, I'm gonna do it in a little bit. So I'm gonna show you that, but I got the best in the world here, the Japanese ones, not Chinese stuff. And what we're seeing on the numbers is just phenomenal. So we're gonna get into that. Sosa puts question mark. I don't know what that means. Eva says, blessings to you, Greg. Thank you. Chrissy says, were you at the hospital because you were sick, or were they doing research on your spiritual gifts? Yikes. That is a loaded question. And potentially, wow. Okay, let me think about that. I went in because I don't necessarily want to reveal too much, because that's just like personal stuff. I'll share the things that I learned behind the scenes. Getting too much into personal stuff, I'll share some. Avocado today. So we're going to be putting avocado. We're going to be putting natto. We're making something I'm making something special today. So yeah, the whole hospital thing, I had, it's probably, gosh, it was probably the latter that was affecting the initial thing. But I was actually really surprised, because I see the world differently, which is one of the reasons that sometimes it's hard to brainwash somebody like me. That's why I catch on to things quick, and I'm like, you know what? That's why I found all the corruption so quickly in a lot of health industries, and a lot of especially, I hate to tell you, even the alternative health industries, actually big time. It's pretty bad these days, because where the money is, the vultures come out, and a lot of the people out there that you probably even potentially trust. I'm not going to name names, but in my opinion, they're vultures. They're not here to try to help you guys. They don't really care about you. They just want to fill up, their pocketbooks and whatever, right? Who cares? That's their thing. I just wish that they would get in different industries. Don't get in an industry that is meant to help people with health, and then don't really truly bring them that. It's like, just go do something else. You can make money doing other things. Yeah, one thing you never want to do, in my personal opinion, is you never want to harm others. I believe very much in a lot of wise men, including Jesus is probably one of the more well-known ones, when he says, hey, love one another, right? I agree with that. And if you're not going to do that in the health industry, then just get out. That's my personal take on that. But yeah, going into the hospital, I did not know that they were going to do the testing that they did on me was pretty intense. And it wasn't like a day or two. It was months and months and months. Probably one of the issues is they found an anomaly with the way my brain works. I probably shouldn't go too much into detail about all this stuff. All I can say is that, what they found obviously was something that I I was already experiencing it, but I see things differently, and a lot of times it helps me figure things out, but it also causes other issues in my life. You know, I have difficulties, you know, with a lot of different things in life. And I see the big picture so much. Like one of the ones that surprises me about humans is humans, they live like they think they're never going to die. And yet we have a very finite amount of time while we're here. And then we spend our time doing silly things with our time. I think this is why I think Buddha and Jesus, they both said it. But they, you know, if I were to quote like Jesus, he says, don't invest in the things of this world. You know, meaning like, hey, why would I, you know, do all these, you know, big business, making a ton of money so that I can buy, you know, who knows, fancy cars or whatever, right? All these things. And then you just end up dying. And I think it's beautiful if you can do something that can touch people's lives in a beautiful and positive way. That's different. You know, if you can do something to change the world. In fact, more recently, somebody contacted me and he says, I literally just quoted him. He always says that. He goes, dude, I want to change the world. And I think he has a great heart. And we might be doing some stuff together in the near future, because to change the world, at least what that really means to me is I want to change people's health. You know, why? Because look, guys, health, you know, they always say health is the greatest wealth. And you know, it really is, because if you're not healthy, odds are you don't really have much of a chance to be happy. It's very hard to be happy when your body's not working right. It's like getting in your car and you got to go somewhere and you try to start it and it doesn't work. That won't start. And it's like, oh, does it make you happy? No. You're like, it doesn't work. And it's not conducive to happiness. And in my opinion, if we want to share love with one another and wonderful things and have happy lives, you need your health in order to do that. And so that's why it's become something that's important to me, because I believe it's conducive to greater love, joy, happiness. So I'm doing my part, right? Wherever it may be needed. Ooh, I just put an avocado in there. Let's put the next magic ingredient. Okay, let's keep moving forward. Let's see if I can read some of your other comments. Let's see here. Oh yeah, the hospital thing. Let's maybe come back to that one. All I can tell you is I'm apparently definitely less than 1% of the population. The number was something silly like 0.01% or something, because my brain has some very strange behavior. And I could go into it, but sometimes it's a little embarrassing, and I'm sure I'll get judged for it. And so, you know. Okay, this is the secret ingredient. This is one of the secret ingredients. We got a lot of secret ingredients today. Not to mention, you should see some of the potential anti-parasitic benefits of natto. But look at this one. This one today, oh, this is one of my favorite ones. This is the one that tastes like butter. It actually tastes kind of like ghee, which is highly unusual for natto. And oh, I can smell it already. Hold on a second. Let's see here. I'm going to show you how to activate it. And this is all according to the, oh, yes, I like it. This is what I'm about to show you is, remember, I don't really guess, just so you guys know. I like to talk about things that I actually know about, because I don't want to mislead people. Natto, the Japanese have done so much extensive research on natto, and this is how you activate it. And they research this. So you have to stir it 100 times. Oh, thanks for all the thumbs up, guys. We're at 48. So we can at least, but there's almost 80 people in the room. We should be at least at 50. So if you guys want to support this, it's free. You just have to push a button. It couldn't be easier, right? All right, so the Japanese found that you have to stir this 100 times at least, okay? And oh, thanks for a thumbs up. Somebody did it. Oh, somebody else did it. Woohoo, we reached 50, guys. Thank you for that, by the way. You know, it just shows love, right? Show me a little love, guys. That's all it is. Oh, look at this. This little fruit fly is already attracted to the natto. So the reason that I prefer this, I'm actually a little skeptical about the natto kinase they're selling in pills. Remember, I told you, I'm not a huge fan of pills. I found very few good ones throughout the years. And I like to get it in its most natural form. Now, this is coming to life. You can actually kind of see how it begins to really foam up. That's all the good bacteria coming to life, kind of like good bacteria in yogurt, but this stuff is next level. In fact, there is no food on the planet, by the way, that has natto kinase like this. This is absolutely next level. And this one, oh, this one's gonna make my smoothie taste Today's a magical day, guys. Today is a good day. I wish I could make, there's a lot of ingredients I wish I could put in here. I wish I could put sprouted broccoli, broccoli sprouts. That would be pretty awesome. There's a lot of stuff that I would like to put, and I change them up, right? Because there's only so much room in the smoothie. I don't know if you notice how much I'm putting in here. All right, let's keep moving forward. Tons and tons of protein in that one. Okay. Let's see. Where are we at here? Oh, the hospital one. We'll get into that one. Okay, Char says, sorry, I just meant talk about how to fight parasites, which I see that you're doing. I'm trying to learn here. So you put the chia in the water that put hydrogen in it? No, I mean, hydrogen, remember, hydrogen's a gas. So what ultimately you can do with the gas, if you know how to make it properly, use it properly. I cannot emphasize that enough. It's just like growing food. You want to grow it properly, meaning organic. You don't want pesticides and chemicals, and you want rich soils. And I probably won't divulge because then it'll become it might become a problem. There's very few places on the planet, and I found some, where they still do really good practices with the soil. I'm actually gonna, let's just say there's certain places in Japan where they know what they're doing. They're master farmers. A lot of people don't know that. Spending time over there, it's funny. One thing about Japan, when spending many years of my life over there, throughout the years, was you never saw organic food in Japan. And I thought, I thought it was odd, and I would look for it and whatever. And eventually I realized, you don't see it because the Japanese already were trying to do everything very clean. In fact, they couldn't even fathom the word organic because they're like, what are you talking about? It's like, oh yeah, no chemicals. It's like, well, we already try not to use chemicals. It's just a given, it's food. And when I seen some of their farming practices, or even if you read the history about Japanese farming, and even how America, a long time ago, would hire and contract Japanese farmers to teach everybody else how to do it because they are masterful. I mean, the Japanese are not just masterful farmers. These people, man, they're impressive. I mean, I know a lot of people, there's a lot that people don't know about the Japanese. I mean, I won't even say the word, preferably you won't type it in there, but one of the world's best antiparasitics, Japanese. The Japanese have they do so much research, and they have a whole museum dedicated to the science and the research of parasites. And by the way, I read their data, learned everything that I could learn, and became quite proficient in understanding parasites. Hence, that's how I created a lot of these antiparasitic protocols that I created with that knowledge. And I've had direct experience of how much they're actually influencing us, these parasites, by the way. They're literally influencing you, and you don't even know it. I'm telling you right now, you don't even know it. It's like trying to see your own eye. You can't see your own eyes unless you go look in the mirror or whatever. Here goes the banana. I like the bananas. I mean, there's health benefits to bananas too. But one of the reasons I like the banana, and it actually goes really great with the natto and just everything in here. It brings that flavor, just one banana. And look at the size. There's another blender that I really like using. It's a vacuum blender from a website called void-system.com. Same discount code, uprising144K. And I really like my vacuum blender. And technically, is it better? Yes. However, yikes, this is going bad. However, it's small. And I make these enormous smoothies. So I've been using this new pitcher lately from Vitamix. Let's see here. I'm going to put some celery in here. And so I learned a lot about how parasites work in the body, where they actually like to go dormant. They're actually living in us in multiple stages, by the way, if you really want to know the truth about it. So there's eggs in you, there's larvae in you, there's full-grown parasites in you. They're all over the place too, from your skin to your GI system to just all over the place in your blood. And so I created, and it's funny, really odd. I probably shouldn't bring this up. People lose their mind. People get triggered too easily. So I'm just going to say, guys, try your best to not get triggered, because just trying to give you information and stuff that's actually quite fascinating. You know what? Maybe I won't say the name. I'll just say that I found in an old ancient book, because I looked everywhere when I was trying to find the answers to health, from science and studies and also ancient wisdom. And I found some really odd ancient wisdom about parasites from the strangest source. I mean, that's why I'm not bringing it up, because people get triggered. But it was really odd. And I learned, not only that I learned a lot by reading about it, I actually experienced it myself and even used some of the techniques were spoken of in this ancient book. And it was an absolute shocker. When I say it was a shocker, it was another big pivotal point in my life that changed my life, literally until today. It's just changed my life, because I had these really wild spiritual experiences that I didn't go into it thinking I'd have a spiritual experience. I wasn't even looking for a spiritual experience. By getting a lot of these parasites out. And that's when I realized the amount of influence that they have on me. And that's the reason that I changed a lot of my lifestyle. Yes, for health, but always making sure that these critters, that I keep them at bay, or even at least within certain numbers, because you're not going to get rid of all of them. But yeah, the Japanese have, it's kind of wild. You guys can look it up. It's actually a Japanese parasite museum. This gentleman, and again, you got to love the Japanese. They're always doing this wacky, cool stuff, and nobody else even notices. He dedicated a huge part of his life, and still does, to the research of parasites. And they have all these microscopic pictures, and if you look at them, guys, it literally looks like something out of a movie. Like, you can't even believe that this stuff is out there, and let alone inside of you. And maybe I shouldn't keep going on about that. Let's keep moving. And we're almost at 60 thumbs up. That'll be a nice little goal there. Just one person hit an extra thumbs up. That'd be cool. Okay. All right. Next person, Char, says parasites and metals. I see that you're doing. Sorry, I'm not trying to talk so much. Oh, it's fine if you type, guys. Everybody in my chat room, you're welcome to be free. Say whatever. You're not going to trigger me either, by the way. We're all good. Unless it's anything that might hurt somebody, that's where I draw the line. I want to love my neighbor. I want to care about people. And I don't like either information that's going to hurt people or misguide them. Lorenzo says, I watched what appears to be a legit YouTube channel consumed that reviews different brands of chia seeds. 9 chia seed brands to avoid, and 2 that are worth it. That's cool. Thanks for sharing that. When RN says, I completely understand the power of chia. Do you have an alternative to chia? The texture is formidable obstacle. Really? So see, no, I guess the simple answer is no. I don't have an alternative. It's like, do you have an alternative to food? I mean, chia seeds, first of all, what's interesting about them is when you put them in a smoothie and they're soaked in water. Here's one. I'm going to give you another one of the secrets, guys. Here's a big one. Everybody in here who wants to understand health. Again, the secret is water. And when I say water, notice that I didn't just dump chia seeds into this smoothie that I'm making. I soak them in water, and not just any water, right? It can either be extremely high purity water, so it has to be really clean, which I show you guys how to do carbon distillation. Watch my video 388. If you just want to look at the products that does it, it's that website, mypurewater.com, right? And if you want that discount code, it's simple. It's Uprising 144K. Now, so I soak them in clean water because I want everything, or almost everything, as much as you can, to be carrying water, okay? And the water in food, by the way, it's not normal. So like if I were to squeeze all the water out of the celery or a carrot, it ain't normal water, guys. It's magical, right? That's why people do like a lot of the juicing and everything. The only problem is, do I believe in juicing? Not if I'm going to try to. Am I saying it's bad for you? No, I'm not saying it's bad for you. But are you taking certain properties out of the food by doing that? Yes. And do you want those properties? Yes. And how do I know that? Because we've got proof. We've seen a lot of the. Dr. Diego was one that he noticed it too, and I've known about it. And so you want food the way that it was, the nature made it. Okay, today I normally put carrots in this, but today this celery is going so bad that I'm trying to salvage. And if you've ever watched my channel, I do not like wasting food. I feel like if you waste food, it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to potentially the person who works so hard to make the money to buy it. It's disrespectful to the farmer who grew it, especially these organic farmers going against the grain. I mean, they only do I believe organic farming is only like 3% or less of agricultural farming in America. So a very tiny number. The last thing you want to do is just be wasteful. And this is probably the first time that this has happened to me. And I was I disappointed in myself a little bit? Yeah, but I do my best. And you know what? For the stuff that's going to go bad anyway, I'm going to put it in the compost pile. I got a very high nutrient compost, all organic pile going on outside. I mean, I got a massive amount of compost. And so anyway, but yeah, I don't like to be wasteful. And this one actually looks too far gone. I'm not going to be able to save that guy. Compost. So yeah, I'm just trying to put a little bit more celery in here today. Okay, let's keep looking at some of your questions. Oh, all right, we reached 60 thumbs up. Thanks, guys. That shows me I appreciate the gratitude. I think gratitude, by the way, is a very powerful thing when it comes to happiness. And by the way, for the person who asked alternative to chia seeds, when you put a lot of the soaked ones in a smoothie, it actually makes it creamy and it tastes so good. I really, and it's just a great thing. Is there any alternative to chia seeds? There's a lot of different foods as you're seeing me put in there, but chia is pretty magical and I use it all the time and quite affordable. All right, Street Cred says, is there a specific diet that works well with enhancing benefits from hydrogen water the most? Actually, there is. And then let's see, we'll get into that. Eva says, what do you think of renal tubular acidosis? We've talked about this, Eva. You should email me because the last time you made a comment, which is fine, I don't mind you making comments, but it was, it could have been confusing to people. And when we ended up having the conversation, a lot of things became more clear. And honestly, we've gone over it, so I'm not going to take a ton of time in regards to this, but just remember, you guys can read about what causes acidosis. And there's numerous things, eating, I'm not going to say the foods because people get triggered. The person who asked what kind of diet I would recommend, I'm not going to address that right now because there's actually different diets for different types of issues, and there's different things you can do. And there is one that I have discovered actually enhances the hydrogen, which is kind of shocking, actually. And here we go, last one, because I don't think I could fit any more celery in this thing, and the rest of it's probably going to go bad. So I won't get into that too much right now, though in the near future, I'm going to, because what I'm going to do, I don't like to say things without, I want to bring the receipts. So I'm going to bring you guys just basically some really great proof, so that way it's hard for people to, well, I would hope that it's hard for people to get all triggered and weird about everything. Hopefully with proof, people can just see it for themselves. And I'll tell you one person who noticed, because he's tried a lot of different diets, and that was Dr. Diego, the guy I interviewed. Yeah, he tried a lot of things, and I'll tell you what he said. I mean, you can watch the interview for yourself, but in private, when him and I talked, and I would ask him, have you ever seen anything, any protocol, any diet, anything that you've ever done work how this is working? And straight up, he's like, no. In fact, it's almost hard to imagine that this is even possible, because I found a way. I found a specific, oh no, yeah, this is not good. This is gross, actually. This is the nasty juices that are coming out of the celery that's going bad. So anyway, he found out something actually remarkable, guys. In fact, it's so remarkable. And believe me, I'm going to share with you guys. So anybody who's subscribed or anything, you're going to get this information, and it's coming. It's coming real soon. I would hope quite possibly within about a month. So 3 to 4 weeks, something like that. And what we're going to divulge is I found a way to get crazy health benefits. I mean, that's why if you look at any of the interviews or testimonials or even the pictures, I've shown pictures of people with dementia, before and after pictures. I've shown different skin disorders. I've shown, I mean, so many people with Crohn's disease, celiac disease, IBS, gut issues, lung issues. I mean, so many. If you guys haven't seen all this stuff, maybe watch my channel. There's so many videos, and this has been going on for a very long time. This is so sad for me to do this, but I think I'm just gonna, you know what? Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Let's try to salvage as much as we can of this celery. I'm just gonna put it in that blender and just hope it fits. That's what we're gonna do today. Yeah, I discovered a way to put the body in a certain state. As crazy as that sounds, it's in a certain state where it's actually detoxifying constantly, getting rid of old garbage cells, even old mitochondrial cells that are not working properly. I found a way to do all this because a lot of people will talk about things like autophagy. I don't know how much you guys know about autophagy and mitophagy and stuff like that. What appears, which, typically the only way you can get into those type of states is typically those type of benefits are from fasting. And I don't think the average person wants to be fasting all the time, which I don't disagree with you. I'm not a fan of, I'm not saying that fasting is not good for you, but I will tell you one thing. And many people make this mistake. I made this mistake when I first kind of started and I didn't know what I was doing. Fasting can be quite detrimental to you too, because it depletes you of a lot of nutrients. You do not want to just jump into a fast, typically, unless there's an emergency or a reason for it. And I also, not only that, I found a way to enhance fasting, but not just enhance it, you have to prepare the body for it. And if you don't, again, there's actual data now that people actually did research on this, thank goodness. And it shocked me when I first saw it, because I always thought fasting was good for you. I did not think that it could be detrimental. And then I'm reading data and it's showing some things that are not good, and I was confused about it. And now all this took me years to figure out, obviously, but in the end, you have to prepare the body. Just remember, the average person, that one doesn't look good. The average person is highly nutritionally deficient. I don't know if you guys understand this. We have clear medical evidence, by the way, which is shocking why it doesn't get talked about enough. Actually, I feel like it doesn't get talked about almost at all. If you ever go to your doctor, I mean, I worked with doctors for decades, and I never heard one. Can you believe that? Not one time in over 2 decades. And even the doctors that I'm still in contact with today and stuff, they don't talk about deficiencies really. And the only time that they semi-talk about it, actually, quote unquote, is actually when it comes to babies. And that's because mostly with pregnant women. So I work with a lot of, pregnant women, a lot of lactation consulting, all this type of stuff. And look at that. We kind of semi-fit it in there. Look at that. All right. And even the breast milk that's going to come out, the body needs to have all the pieces that it really needs. And so, yeah, you don't want to just jump into a fast, guys. Just telling you right now. And then I discovered techniques that can give us just basically a ton of the benefits of fasting without actually having to do it. So it's been pretty shocking. I don't think there's anybody in the world who even really knows this yet. I don't know why, but I know that Dr. Diego is one of those people. He might even be watching today, actually, because he's off on Sundays. It's Sunday, isn't it? Or is it Saturday? All right, we reached 60 thumbs up. Okay, so let's just keep reading people's comments and moving forward here if we can. Let's see. Shared in Tennessee. Woohoo. Sweet Pete 520 sending some love. Eva says, what carbs do you really dinner to follow your protocols? I'll tell you what, Eva, go ahead and email me. We've talked about this before, but go ahead and email me. My email is uprising144k, and we'll sit down and have a little conversation about what you're going through, because yours requires a lot of attention, and I'm willing to help you. So go ahead and give me an email. Okay, Goss Lux says, hi, would you please share the recipe and details and at what time or whatever to drink an empty stomach or not. So I have already those on my YouTube channel, so you might want to just scroll through there and you'll see it. The recipe, one of them, because again, I make many different kinds, so one of them you'll find on another live video, and it literally says smoothie recipe on there. And you can also watch like my video 337, 388, and I would recommend 426 if you're actually going to do it. That would be the last one to watch. Lisa says, thank you for sharing your personal experiences. That's why I see patterns too. We are all unique and beautiful children of God. And I would agree with you. Susan Waves, hello. Susan Farmer says, what is the Japanese protocol? What is the Japanese protocol? And then Sweet says, make chia into chocolate pudding. You can do that. There's a lot of wonderful things you can do. As far as the Japanese protocol, I mean, I don't know if I would necessarily call it a Japanese protocol. We're going to put a little bit more hydrogen in here. If anything, I created this protocol, but I'm using Japanese technology. In fact, right here, if you want to see it. The best hydrogen, because hydrogen is super important to the protocol. I'm sorry, but it will not be able to do the magical things without this magic machine. These things are absolute magic. And I'm so glad that, you know, the guy invented this equipment, because if it wasn't for this equipment, I probably, with all honesty, I don't even think I'd be alive right now. So I was pretty messed up. One of my many issues, one of them was I had a heart condition, and my cardiologist was basically like, well, this is going to kill you. You're probably going to need some type of open heart surgery, you know, blah, 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 you know, the spiel. Did he scare the crap out of me? Not really, actually. I wasn't, I'm not going to say I wasn't like, I wasn't, what's the word I should use? I was okay, right? Meaning we all die someday. So it was like, all right, I guess I just have to accept that fact. But I'd considered the surgery. What was shocking to me is when I started using this equipment and then my heart condition went away. And not just mine, by the way. I don't know if you guys seen some of my other testimonial videos. I mean, there's a woman who's almost 100 years old who had like 3 different heart conditions. Oh boy, this one's gonna get messy today. I can see it already. Too full. The water's gonna spill over too. Okay, let's see, guys. Let's see if this will even blend. Remember, I shoved everything down in there. Do you guys think it's gonna blend? Comment below. No, you're gonna burn up your blender or it's gonna get stuck, and we'll find out. I hope I don't embarrass myself here. And they're like, it doesn't look like you're making a smoothie. It looks like you're just trying to break that blender. Let's bring the camera a little closer for this one. So if you guys want to see a blender blow up, here it goes. All right, let's see here. Can you guys see how jam-packed? Can you see all the ingredients? The walnuts, the blueberries, the charred spinach, kale, banana, avocado, natto. Oh, my purine powder, of course. The turmeric, you can see that over here on this side because it's more orangey. A lot of beautiful colors. Obviously, we got celery in there today. No carrots today. Normally, I put carrots in there. All right, so is this thing going to break? Let's find out. You won't even start? Oh, there we go. Oh, yikes. You can already see water popping out here. Hold on a second. Thought I had a good seal on this. Don't want this thing leaking as it's blending. Not today. No messy day. And then I'm going to show you a few more tricks. I got a huge tricks, health secrets. I'm just about to show you. And I am not kidding you when I tell you. These are the, might as well watch this because this is the last of the technique. All right, let's see if this thing blends. Sorry about the noise. Here we go. It's going to take a moment. Surprised it ain't leaking too bad, but it looks pretty thick, and I'll show you what I do when it's too thick. Yeah, try that with a $30 blender. Good luck with that. Okay, here comes one of the secrets. Let's show you guys one of the secrets here. What I do is I'll grab some hydrogen water. It's one of them. There's a ton of secrets I'm going to show you. One, you cut this with hydrogen water. Now, any hydrogen water? No, has to be stable. I would never use a hydrogen tablet or a little Chinese hydrogen bottle that directly electrolyzes the water. You should see, by the way, what the latest science is showing about direct electrolyzation with all these hydrogen products do, or at least the majority of them, and their effects on microplastics. I just read some new data yesterday, and oh my gosh, I'm telling you, the hydrogen thing is going to be a problem. It's just like water. You can either do it right or you do it wrong, and if you do it wrong, water can be very harmful to you potentially. If you do it right, it can be straight up magical. Okay, quite thick today. I can already see it. We're gonna make some changes here. So I'll show you what I do when it gets too thick. We probably suspected that based on the amount of stuff I put in today. It's also spilling off the sides here. I'm gonna try it right now. Oh, it came out really good. Way better than I expected. Okay. Let's see here. I'm gonna show you the second part to this. Today's a messy day, huh? All right, this is what we do. I'm glad it came out good because I got a lot of it. And I'm gonna drink it, by the way. You better believe that. This is what fills me up. A lot of minerals, nutrients, proteins, amino acids, water, fire, blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're kind of running out of hydrogen water. As you can see, this is the last of it. Let's see if it's enough. And that's not going to be enough. So now we go to, when we're out of hydrogen water, we go to super, super clean water, which is what I used to make the hydrogen in the first place. So let's make this a little bit better, because when it's that thick, it's just too thick. I mean, it could work, but I like it to be a certain consistency. So, and then we'll move on to the rest of your questions and comments. Sorry guys, because I have to show you the secret here. So here we go, let's do this. You know, I really do like this blender. I just like the big picture. I like how big this thing is. Oh, woohoo, we got so many thumbs up, guys. Thanks for that. All right, here we go. Consistency is getting better. This is exactly what I wanted. So I'm gonna put it in there with the hydrogen water. And then I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna make mine, because this is for whenever I get hungry later or whatever, right? This is actually, believe it or not, this is my multivitamin, because let food be thy medicine. And these days the food is so messed up that gotta make something like this. All right, here we go. So these, the moment they're done, put them in the refrigerator. You want to keep them as fresh as possible. As food gets older, there's what's called endotoxins that begin to grow in it. And it actually affects your immune system, by the way. Causes inflammation, makes your immune system react like there's something attacking your body. So yeah, super important, eat fresh. Not a good idea to be a leftovers kind of, yeah, you don't want to eat a lot of leftovers. You'll notice that I don't do that a lot. Okay, now I'm going to put just a tiny bit, and I'm going to show you the last secret here. We got two big ones coming up for health secrets, right? Here we go. Now we're going to add a little bit more water in here, just because, again, it's still quite thick. And then, remember, if food is to be my medicine, notice, one, I already put minerals in there. Why? Because our food is mineral deficient, and minerals are extremely important. Let's blend this real quick. Now, here is the secret sauce. One of these ingredients actually is super good for men's testosterone. Like all these guys who are trying to do like TRT and testosterone replacement therapy. You'd be shocked to find out, and look, I really like RFK Jr., by the way, that he wants to make America healthy and all that good stuff. But one thing is, and it's fine that he uses, I believe he uses TRT, which is testosterone replacement. I'm surprised what he doesn't know is that there's research on this mineral. And I showed the research. This boron, in its ionic form actually, this has been shown to be really good for men and female hormones. Basically increasing testosterone naturally. Because TRT, and I'm surprised most people don't know this, and I wonder if RFK, I mean, he must be well educated enough in the subject to know, it actually appears to accelerate aging. Why would you want to accelerate aging? Isn't everybody trying to do the whole anti-aging thing? So I take this mineral and I put it again Let food be my medicine. Here we go. I put it right in there. And then this one. Now this one is one that you're gonna have a real hard time getting vitamin D in from your food. It's pretty tricky. I've had my levels tested. I've had all my nutrients tested. And this is why I created this thing and why I saw it work. In fact, I didn't just see it work. The doctor who was doing the blood work, she couldn't believe her eyes. Even the people in the laboratory, they were like, what is going on with this guy's blood? And she called me and she said, I would like to know what you're doing because your blood looks unbelievable. But she thought it was a pill. Okay, here comes the probably the last and best secret of them all. So here, I'm gonna move this for a second. I'll move the camera in a second, guys. Just be a little patient because you're gonna see one of my other secret techniques for health. Okay, 1 second. I always like to blow my nose before I do this next. Now for my next parlor trick. Not for my next trick. I feel like I'm a magician. Yeah, I'm a magician, guys. I'm making medical issues disappear. No, I don't make claims. I'm just kidding. It's just a joke. It's a magician joke. All right, here we go. Medical issues just for some reason go away. People hang out with me. I don't know why. Okay, so here's the last one. I would not recommend this with the wrong equipment, but with this equipment, I'm okay, which is I'm gonna be inhaling some hydrogen. Then I'm gonna read the rest of your comments and answer your questions. And then the last of the Mohicans, the last ingredient here, by the way, hemp hearts. Of all the things that could have been illegal or illegal, this is one of the most well-balanced omegas in the world. Super good amounts of protein, super nutritious. So many good nutrients and minerals, by the way. And I like to put them on the top so I can chew on them while I drink this. My breakfast. This is my breakfast. So let's answer the last of your questions. So this right here, you could call it what you want. You could be like, well, that's just a smoothie. This is not just a smoothie, guys. I've never seen anybody ever make anything like this. And, you know, and you guys just got to see it for free. Here we go. Came out good. Okay, let's answer some of your last questions and then I will let you guys go. Okay, where are we at here? Someone says, and I apologize for the chewing and everything. Okay, Nicho says, hey Greg, I saw that matcha. Oh, that's right, I have it right here. I could have added it today. I should have added it today. Oh, that would have been so good. I can show you guys what I got. In fact, I am tempted to add it. Oh, you know what? I can add it. Check this out, guys. Okay, let's do it. Thank you, Nicho. You the man. All right. If you guys want to see this last one, because you know the benefits of green tea. However, I've seen lab reports lately where it's coming from, different countries. The one that tested worse was the Chinese one. The one that tested the best is Japanese. Japanese rarely do organic, but this is true. Just like my hydrogen machine, true 100% Japanese, guys. Now remember, this is always your secret too. You always want to look at the ingredients and it literally says organic matcha green tea powder and that's it. There's no green number 20 or there's no, you know, natural flavoring or whatever this, it's always something, right? Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I still got smoothie here, so the other smoothie won't get it, but this one will. I'm gonna put some of this in here. It's probably gonna be like, let's say a tablespoon. A heaping tablespoon. It brings some nice flavor to it, and it's so good for you. So let's go with that one. Let's edit that in there too. Oh, it's gonna taste so good. I'm already looking forward to the second smoothie, but for right now, let's blend this up for the second round. Give me a second. There we go. That was easy. Yeah, it's easy. In fact, I have a new, I haven't even talked about it yet. I was thinking about making a video, a new way of cooking food that brings the nutrients. It's a Japanese equipment. In fact, it's this guy right here. This thing is special. It's not an ordinary machine. The Japanese are always figuring out this crazy stuff. Just so you know, they actually love health in Japan. That's why they figure all this stuff out. That's why they figure out the hydrogen thing. But they're also pretty highly moral people, which is why I think they make really good stuff versus, you know, like China doesn't seem to care sometimes. I mean, they'll throw plastics in your rice just to make it weigh more so they can rip you off, I guess. And I'd rather pay more money so that they don't put the plastic in there. That's what I would rather do. Oh boy. Give me another second here. I want to grab something and then I'm going to read your comments, guys. I have this other quote unquote technique, but this one, I'll save it for a different day because you don't have to do it, and yada, yada, yada. So, okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to inhale, in my opinion, the best hydrogen get your hands on. Okay. While I drink this crazy concoction. Okay. All right. Thanks for all the thumbs up, guys. Nicho, thanks for the reminder on the green tea matcha, brother. Okay, next comment. Sweet Pea says, what's in your smoothie so far? Well, that one you can probably rewind. I have so many videos. I mean, we're talking what? Kale, chard, spinach, celery. Usually I put carrots, but I didn't today. The Purium powder, turmeric powder, which was just turmeric. I put ginger, if you saw me put ginger in there. Put one banana in there. Put celery in there. Blueberries in there. Chia seeds. Oh, soaked walnuts. All sorts of stuff. Put minerals in there. Put natto. Forgot about that. Natto. Avocado. Hopefully that answers your question. All right, who's next? Let's see here. Where are you? I get lost in all these questions. Okay, next one. Hey says, I remember the show Monsters Inside Me. Wow. There you go. About parasite infections and nightmare scenarios. You know, it's so weird. I just had a dream about parasites last night. It was very, very strange. And they were coming out of an animal. And actually, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. They literally have footage of people at nighttime where parasites will crawl out of the rear end of somebody. A lot of times animals. This is the reason I don't have any cats in my home, dogs in my home. I used to have animals. I don't anymore. When I got really sick and I began to do research and understanding parasites, yeah, they don't get on the bed because they will literally have critters that crawl out of their rear ends, their butts, guys, and they will crawl into you while you're sleeping. It's crazy. And there's video footage of it. You can go look. It's hard to believe some of this stuff. It sounds like a movie. Okay. But thanks for sharing that. In fact, Monsters Inside Me. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to pull it up right now so I can watch it later and see what you're talking about. So thanks for sharing again. Let's see here. Monsters Inside Me. American television series. Oh my gosh, I know it's creepy. There it is. Found it. Thanks. Oh my goodness. Nope. You know what? This is exactly why I have my protocols. Anyway, all right. Thank you for sharing that. There's a reason I clean my water. And there's a reason that I eat the way I eat. Chunky says, I was going to say Chunky Monkey, but his name's actually Chunky QS4JL. Hello, I currently drink 8 to 10 cups of coffee a day. Whoa. Yikes. Okay, for the energy and motivation it gives me to get things done, do you think coffee is healthy? Not in those amounts. You know, the thing about coffee is it's one of the most heavily sprayed crops there is. You don't want to drink a ton of it. It is a diuretic. It actually depletes you of certain minerals and basically nutrients. In fact, let me see if I can even find it real quick. Let's see here. You know, because I like coffee and I'll drink it, but notice I get all my nutrients first. That's the priority. I don't start with coffee. So coffee isn't just a diuretic. It actually causes your body to lose specific minerals that are crucially important to the body, such as calcium, magnesium, potassium, certain B vitamins, including vitamin C. It also inhibits nutrient absorption, which is also kind of a problem because most people have trouble absorbing nutrients properly. You never want to start your day with coffee, by the way. Never. None of my protocols do that. It also causes problems with being able to even absorb minerals. So it hinders the absorption of minerals. Not only depletes you of them, it actually inhibits the absorption of them, including iron also. And we already talked about calcium, magnesium, even zinc, which is a problem because zinc is highly, highly important. In fact, I have foods that I eat that are really, really important to proper zinc levels. Very, very anti-parasitic to have proper levels of zinc. And not a supplement. Notice I don't take any supplements. Oh, that reminds me. The only things that there are certain things that I use for a very heavy anti-parasitic protocol. And I can't even mention them on camera, but I'm actually looking at it over here. I was going to go grab it and show you guys. So anyway, hopefully that answers your question. But 8 to 10 cups, that's way too much. And again, I don't know where you're getting your coffee, but again, coffee is highly sprayed. So I would highly go organic. I load up on all these nutrients, and then I'll enjoy myself a cup of coffee. No dairy in it, no sugary stuff in it, no garbage in it. It's really like old fat, it's just coffee. Again, when you notice everything that I talk about, I don't know if you guys have noticed this. Take this, for example, hemp hearts. Let's look at the ingredients. What does it say? Organic shelled hemp seed. And that's it. It's just hemp hearts in here. There's nothing else in this thing. And I do that on purpose because they start adding their shenanigans in all the processed food. So yada, yada, yada. All right, Chunky, moving on. For Shihade, I don't know what that means. Shihade says, can you tell us what coffee brand you use? I guess I could. All I would say is get whole bean and get organic. That would be my suggestion. And look what country it's coming from. Try to get it from countries that don't use. If you read the countries, go and research whether they heavily spray their stuff. But organic technically shouldn't be sprayed, but you know. I noticed the coffee that I like the most, it looks a certain way. And so I chose it, and it's organic and all that. Okay. Let's see. Nicho says, how long? Oh, I'm almost done with the smoothie, and I want to try that one with the green tea matcha. Nicho says, how long would you say fatty liver can be reversed with a strict hydrogen man protocol? Severe. I mean, I've worked with people with cirrhosis of liver. Literally, their livers are failing. 2-3 months. Livers are awesome, you know. So that would be my rough guess. Dale Stearns 5337 says, what works to work as good as intermediate fasting? What works to work? I don't understand that question, but intermediate fasting, I mean, I have certain, part of my protocols are a rhythm. You have to do them in certain sequences and rhythms because people don't even understand the rhythm of their body. So that's another big shocker. Like I said, stay tuned. I'm going to bring something to you guys in about, I'm hoping 3 to 4 weeks I'm trying to work on something that is going to help all you guys because my protocols they change depending on individual issues, how much people are willing to do, you know, all these different factors. And I'm trying to create like a video to lay it all out so that you guys can all get whatever help you feel that you need. Eva says, okay, I will. Sorry. Oh, it's okay, Eva. You don't have to apologize. It's all good. Just send me an email and we'll chat. Sweet Pea says, love my hydrogen machine. You and me both, brother. Inhaling it right now. Well, I'm drinking this guy. Susan Farmer says, nope. I don't know if that was the comment. Is the blender going to blend? They're like, no, that ain't going to work. And it did. It actually didn't even get stuck at all. Surprising. Dale Stern says, why does hydrogen water give my wife diarrhea? Well, I would first ask the equipment, of course, that she's using, because one thing I've noticed is that I've literally seen different equipment cause diarrhea, but it's for different reasons. And if you are using the Japanese equipment, the stuff that I use, I've actually answered this question before. It typically is a sign of an excessive amount of free radicals in your body. And so it's actually a good thing, and it will eventually stop. So, okay. Albert Anna Prieto 4279 says, don't looks like good. I don't know if she meant the smoothie doesn't look good, but I've heard a lot of people say that when they try it. They're always surprised. I remember I made one for this Japanese woman that's like almost 100 years old, or I think she is 100 years old. And she thought it was so funny that I was putting natto in it. She's like, are you crazy? Because, and it's like putting pizza in a blender or something. The Japanese see natto as a certain type of food. They would never think of putting it in a blender. She's like, what are you doing? You crazy. Crazy white boy. She was really sweet, actually. She's a really sweet lady. Street Cred says, which machine do you recommend from My Pure Water for a household of 5? Well, I mean, you can get their cheapest one, and it's a countertop unit, but it only makes 1 gallon every 3 to 6 hours. So if you notice, what I used to do is I would have something like that, and I would fill up these glass jugs as I make the water. And I would just run my little machine. Right now, lately, I have a real big one, so it's all automatic. I don't have to do that anymore, but I did that for years. Check out my old videos. But if you can afford it, I would just get the big one like me, and it's all automatic, clean water all the time. That's what I would do. What's your opinion on fermented homemade vegetables? I think it's great. Japanese consume a lot of fermented vegetables. I eat sauerkraut, kimchi, kimchi radish, cabbage, all sorts of different types of kimchi. There's like these root vegetables. They're so good. To me, they taste like French fries. It's just kind of wild. That reminds me, I might go buy some today. Someone says, how many times a day do you eat? Asks Chunky. I typically eat 2, maybe 3 times, depending. Tamsin Flurin says, hi, what's your opinion on vases that create swirls, supposedly to revive distilled water, as many call it dead? Well, it's definitely not dead water. Otherwise, you can pour it on crops. Like rain, by the way, is distilled water. And on top of it all, when you vortex it, all it's really doing, does it have any benefit? I mean, yes. Is it going to bring on all the magic as far as like what hydrogen will do? In my opinion, no, not even close. But when you vortex it, you're actually pulling in the gases that are in our atmosphere, which is oxygen, nitrogen. So you're pulling that stuff into the water. Is it going to do anything magical per se? Like, ooh, my diabetes went away or something? No, I hate to tell you that, but no. I would focus more on clean water, clean minerals, and clean hydrogen than twirling your water around. You can twirl your water around in a blender, by the way. I know that they try to talk you out of that, but you can swirl water around in a blender and basically do the same thing if you really wanted to. I mean, in fact, I guess my smoothies are structured, right? I got structured smoothies every day. Okay. Almost done here, guys. Hello, Greg. Happy Sunday. What's your opinion on alternate day fasting while not in a caloric deficit? Well, it's going to be really tricky on the individual. When it comes to fasting, as I've said, I'm more concerned about getting the proper nutrients. That's why I said that I have rhythms to different protocols. I would focus more on getting nutrients than anything. But you always want to give your body rest, especially at nighttime. Stop eating 4 hours before you go to bed. Do a nice little fast while you're sleeping. Sleepy says, will you be including your additions and supplements under the vid after you're through? I probably won't today, but I really do need to make a video with all the products that I like. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that with the information that I'm going to be bringing real soon about all my different protocols. So I'm going to include all the products in there. So yeah, I'll be doing that soon. So stay tuned for that. Nicho Libra says, hola, Greg. My question on match is if you've seen issues cause it has EKG, which binds to hemoglobin iron. Have you seen studies on that? Actually, I don't know what you're talking about, so I'll have to skip that for now. Tricks Are for Kids says, I tried your smoothie protocol and couldn't stop using the toilet. Hey, detoxing sometimes, that's how the stuff comes out. Hey, better have good bowel movements than not have them at all, or constipation. Lorenzo says, can you please show the brand of Natto again? You're gonna have to rewind for that one at this time, because I'm actually gonna, and then it says, I put matcha in my Swiss Miss. Does that cancel each other out? Probably not. You know, you probably get some benefits from some, lose some benefits from the other. All right, I want to try this green tea matcha. I almost called it ice cream, but I mean smoothie. Let's try this one. I really want to try it with the matcha in there. Let's see if it makes a difference. Let's see if it makes any difference at all. Yeah, it does make a difference. Tastes pretty good. I like matcha in my smoothie. I'll freeze it and call it ice cream. Okay, KR23 says, Tricks, that is because your body is not used to it. Oh yeah, well, I would agree with that. Yeah, you'll get used to it. Yeah, it's funny, the human body, when you shock it. I had a guy used to tell me, he said, almost everything he ate made him sick, except he could only eat fried chicken. I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, health food makes me sick. The only thing that I feel good on is fried chicken. I thought, it's kind of weird. It's the only thing you can eat. It's too bad. All right. KR23 says, coffee is good for you. Just don't do a lot. There you go. Everything in moderation. Coffee with MTC oil, ghee organic, mold free. I wouldn't do that, but it's all good. Do your thing, but I wouldn't do that regularly. Okay. Someone says your equipment. I don't know what that means, but all right. And Sweet Pea says, I arrived when you were stirring your natto. Did you make it yourself? Oh, no, I did not make the natto myself. Japanese made it. They would make way better natto than I ever will. And yeah, you can rewind it when you get a moment. I show the label and everything, but you can find natto. I did another video on it, actually. I showed how many there are. And you can go to a Japanese grocery store or Korean food store, and sometimes even Chinese food stores. Look in the freezer, guys. Well, wow, we have 80 people today. So thanks for all the thumbs up. Wow, we got 85 thumbs up today. All right, guys. Well, thanks for all the support. Appreciate it. I hope you guys found this video helpful today. And now we just jumped to 90 something people. So if you guys have any last questions, this is your chance to ask any last questions, because I'm going to say goodbye. And appreciate you guys hanging out. Hope you enjoyed it. I don't see any more comments. So I'll see you guys next time on the next one. Okay, guys? Maybe I'll give you a few more seconds. Sometimes every time I go to close it, people are always asking the last second question. Yeah, we got a lot of people joining today. We got over 92 people. Oh yeah, let's see if we can reach 90 thumbs up. We have 86. Can 4 people click the thumbs up when it's free? Probably good for the algorithm and to help people find out this information that we probably so desperately need these days. Everybody seems to be sick. Everybody seems to be having issues these days. Great Tale says, Greg, do you have any knowledge on the transhuman agenda? Actually, yeah, but that would probably get a little long. The one thing I would say is, I like things that protect your DNA. In fact, you guys can do research on this. Look at what hydrogen does for DNA and how it appears to protect it. There's a reason that I'm all in on hydrogen, guys. There's a reason they call me the hydrogen man, right? Because this stuff I think it's going to be something really special going into the future, both in medicine, athletics, agriculture, so many things. It's just super amazing. I obviously am using it for my health. And so we'll be touching on it. All right, we did reach 92 thumbs up. I almost feel like we can get to 100. All right, thanks guys. Appreciate you all, and stay tuned for the next video, and I'll share some more stuff with you guys next time. Okay. Oh, wait a second. We just jumped up to 100. Okay, guys. I feel like we can get 100 thumbs up if everybody just, it's kind of like a game now. Okay, I'm gonna. Wow, I'm kind of shocked today. Everybody really seemed to enjoy the video today. Okay, guys. I'll see you guys next time on the next one. Okay. Thanks for all the support and love, guys. Appreciate you all. Hope you're appreciating the information, and definitely stay tuned. I'm about to bring you guys something really special, hopefully in about 3 to 4 weeks. Okay. All right. Till next time.